how much will the economy impact your vote?
The economy will impact my vote quite a bit. Me as a bartender, actually, I'm looking for a more stimulated economy in the future here. Not only provincially but federally would be something to look for as well. I can't say it would be my entire vote, but it is a large portion.
I think economy is a big issue in the sense where I want to see a balance between controlling inflation, but at the same time still providing some social assistance and social security.
Economy will impact my votes a lot. I'm gonna check how the different candidates are gonna deal with the next couple of months and years for sure. So it's going to impact my decision for sure.
Well, I really haven't looked at the platforms yet, so I'm not sure how the Prime Minister intends to address the deficit. But it'll be a major factor to see when I see what his long-term plan is.
So yeah, it's definitely a factor, but for me, it's not the only factor. Because you can't have totally one without the other things like social checks and balances and environmental considerations. So 33.333%.
I think it would impact this election personally, just because of COVID and coming out of COVID and looking at people's recovery plans. I think is important to see what they plan for the economy. But I think it's important to consider all the different platforms as well, and everyone has different values, so kind of basing it off of that.
It's a tricky question because you got COVID factor in there, and it spiraled out of control, like we all know, to the point where your grandchildren won't even be able to pay for it. But how much was necessary and how much wasn't, that's the real question.
COVID is like half on my mind, and the economy is the other half. And I think either way, whoever runs the country, the economy is not going to change.
For me, the economy, I do definitely feel like inflation with groceries and everything has definitely increased over the last pandemic, like year and a half. But at the same time, I understand that there needs to be supports for people who aren't working right now. So for me, I feel like there has to be a good balance between public spending and as well as giving people, a safety net during such a hard time.
I don't really think it is. I think that they've given away too much CERB. Now it's time they cut the CERB out, give it to the people who really need it, let the kids get back to work. We have friends who own golf courses, they can't get people to work because they're still getting CERB.
I think pretty much a lot, because I'm very invested in the economy and I like to look over it. So I think it's very important if their decision is impacting the economy in a positive way.
The debt would be one thing. The deficit, like all these parties want to spend billions of dollars on, I don't know what, I haven't really looked into it, but we're already in debt. Where are we going to get the money to pay for this? They're borrowing money to spend it, and I don't agree with that, because I have to watch my money. So why don't they have to watch my money too? Because it's all my money and your money that they're spending or borrowing for. So
I'm actually more interested in how the economy plays a role in creating a just and equitable society for people. And so eliminating poverty and creating a space where we would have basic income would be something that I would think would boost the economy, and that's what I would vote for.
I don't think it will to a great extent. I certainly have some concerns about things like housing and job losses. But I think likely whoever comes into power, hopefully, will have a good platform to address that.
Well, it definitely is going to impact the vote, but I don't think that's the priority at the moment. I will see which candidate will offer the different interest rates for the foreign investors. I think that's going to be interesting to see, and that's definitely going to orient my vote towards the candidate, yeah.
I would say a good amount.
Why?
Well, I'm always concerned about the economy and
for the spending,
taxation,
COVID overspending that our grandchildren are going to have to pay for.
I think so. I think we don't need another shutdown. I think we need to look at a better way to handle the pandemic than just shutting everything down like we have been. Another shutdown would probably be detrimental, I think. because it's really what we've gone through already has already impacted so much. Like even my job, I haven't been working for the last year and a half. I just started working again, and even then they were telling me like it was hard for the bosses, the owners of the company. They have a big family and everything, so they had to run the place by themselves just so that they could keep their own family in order. So like I think another shutdown's probably like the worst thing we can do. So I think like trying to find a way to keep everything going just so we could keep the economy going probably be in the best interest.
It's always the most important issue in all elections, and it's going to be the pivotal issue on September 20th.